Hello and welcome to the IRC Youth Education 2020 module for IRC Youth Tutors regarding SMART goals. I'm your host, Rosalie Arndt, Youth Education Coordinator at the IRC in New York City. The objectives for this training module are written in the TWBAT, or Tutors Will Be Able To format. Tutors will be able to identify the defining components of a SMART goal and why they are important for IRC students. Tutors will be able to identify students who they can write SMART goals for. And our last objective, tutors will be able to write a SMART goal for identified students following the given steps by Saturday, December 5th, 2020. Let us begin by taking 30 seconds to look at our agenda for this training module. We will start by grounding in purpose. All IRC youth education programs center on these three informing mindsets. They are culturally responsive education, linguistically supportive education for multilingual learners, and trauma-informed education. For today's module, and consistent with these three informing mindsets, I'm reminded of the Benjamin Franklin quote, "If you fail to plan, you're planning to fail." Let's watch, listen, and learn about how this quote applies to the learnings for the remainder of this module. Next up on our agenda, SMART goals. What are they and why do we do them? A SMART goal is a written goal for student improvement that is, well, SMART. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely, or time-bound. Some useful questions we might ask ourselves to determine whether our goal is SMART. Specific, what do you want to do? Measurable, how will you know when you've reached it? Achievable, is it in your power to accomplish it? Realistic, can you realistically achieve it? And timely or time-bound, when exactly do you want to accomplish this goal by? Now, let's learn about why we write SMART goals for IRC students. First, goal setting and progress monitoring have been proven to increase student investment and achievement. Second, SMART goals help us to direct our service provision beyond the day-to-day instances. And third, at the IRC, we aim to coordinate service provision between multiple stakeholders. For example, along with all IRC staff and IRC youth tutors, the IRC school success coaches are also currently writing student SMART goals. These are all stakeholders that work with IRC students, and we aim to coordinate our service provision between each of them. Now, let's take a look at an example SMART goal for an IRC student this semester. Zhongwei will increase his grade in ELA from an 80% to a 90% by December 12th, 2020. This is considered the modeled format and the standard for IRC youth education SMART goal this semester. So why is this goal SMART? Which components of this goal, for example, are S, specific? The IRC youth education standard is that each student has an individualized goal. As you can see, this goal refers to a specific student. Another way in which this goal is specific, the IRC youth education standard, is that SMART goals will select the student's lowest performing class to focus on improving their grade in. Here, you see the specific ELA class has been selected. Next, let's ask ourselves which components of this goal are measurable. Again, the IRC Youth Education Standard is a 10% grade increase. The measurable component of this SMART goal is the 80 to 90% increase. Now we ask ourselves, which parts of this goal are A, achievable? The IRC Youth Education Standard is that each SMART goal is set in a domain that is within our locus of control. For IRC youth tutors, this means a grade in an academic class, as that is within our locus of control as a tutor to support their growth in. Next, we ask ourselves which component of this SMART goal is R, realistic. Again, the IRC Youth Education Standard is a desired 10% grade increase. We consider this goal realistic. And last, we ask ourselves which component of the SMART goal is T, timely or time-bound. All of the SMART goals this semester will end with the same end date, December 12th, 2020. This is the IRC Youth Education Standard. IRC Youth Tutors will set student SMART goals based on the end date of the fall 2020 term. The last day of fall 2020 IRC Youth Tutoring is 12/12/2020. Next, you will be able to identify student or students to write a SMART goal for. Here are your directions. Moving forward, begin your tutoring time with each student that you tutor by completing the following steps. Open the FY21 Student SMART Goals and Case Notes file. If the student already has a tutoring SMART goal written in column C, proceed to supporting the student towards progressing towards their SMART goal, in addition to any homework tasks they've brought to you for that day. However, if the student does not yet have a SMART goal written for column C, proceed to writing that student a SMART goal and the following process. Now we will learn the steps for writing a SMART goal. Here are the steps for how to write a student SMART goal. Your directions are as follows. First, ask the student to take you to their report card, grades, or progress report using the share screen function on Zoom. Note, if the student does not yet know how to do this, together, compose an email to the student's teacher or perhaps a guidance counselor requesting detailed steps for how to gain access to that student's grade. Next, once you have arrived at that student's grades, take a screenshot of their grades. Then, email that screenshot to rosalie.arndt@rescue.org. Next, inside the FY21 Student SMART Goals and Case Notes file, write that student SMART goal utilizing the modeled format. Remember, set the increase to a 10% increase in the student's lowest performing class grade. Set the end date of your SMART goal to December 12th, 2020. And note, if your student's school does not award grades, write a SMART goal based on improving their English language, improving their study habits, and/or improving their self-advocacy skills at school. For example, their confidence writing their teacher an email asking for help or support. This SMART goal belongs in column C of the FY21 Student SMART Goal and Case Note file for each individual student. Now, we will complete the check for understanding and launch you to your next steps. As a reminder, in this module, our objectives were that tutors will be able to identify the defining components of a SMART goal and why they are important for IRC students. Tutors will be able to identify students who they can write SMART goals for. And tutors will be able to write a SMART goal for identified students following the given steps by Saturday, December 5th, 2020. Check. As a check for understanding, here are your directions. Complete and submit the associated check for understanding quiz found on the Youth Tutors Google Classroom by the due date posted. Your next steps are to complete the steps to write student SMART goals moving forward after having completed this module. This has been Rosalie Arndt, Youth Education Coordinator, the IRC in New York, with the IRC Youth Tutors training regarding SMART goals for the fall of 2020.